Welcome to the Capoeira Experience podcast, where you are going to learn how capoeiristas got where they are, how they keep the motivation, why they do what they do, and even how they do business through capoeira. I hope you enjoy it and learn something from their experience. What's up, Capoeira Nation? Welcome back to the Capoeira Experience podcast. Once again, thank you so much to everybody that's listening and helping to spreading the word of capoeira and the podcast. And all right, so today we're going to continue the female series. And today's episode, I got a Mr. Lua student from Capoeira Malés. She started capoeira 5 years ago. She joined Capoeira Malés in 2016, and now she's here with us to share her experience. Now, let me introduce you to Encantada from Capoeira Malés, Toronto. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's pretty cool that you step up when I post on Instagram and I was like, hey, who wants to be on? And you're like, hey, me.
Yeah. I mean, I've been listening to the podcast for a while, and
nice.
Like, sometimes we go on road trips to Montreal, like
that's cool.
Kind of like on these long trips. Like once in a while, we'll be listening to music, and then we'll put on an episode of the podcast. So
that's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
But I wasn't sure if it's like if I'd be someone to be interviewed, just because I'm very much still I consider myself a beginner.
Yeah.
Nowhere near like the professora or instructora level like most of the people you've had on, so I just thought
no, of course. Like I always say on the podcast, like capoeira is an experience from day one up to 30, 20, 50, 10 years of capoeira. Any capoeira experience is more than welcome to share the experience here to the capoeira community, because we all learn from each other. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, so all right. So as you know, you listen to some of the episodes. I like to share the social media so people can get to see your face, and if you have any work on social media, or what are your social media and how people can see you.
Sure. My Instagram is at Gemdelines, so that's GEMDELEENS. So
nice.
My Instagram, I will say that's where the majority of my capoeira-related posts would be. Cool. I'm also on Facebook as Encantada Gemma.
Nice.
Encantada? I can't remember the order, but it's my real name and it's my apellido on Facebook. So,
cool. At least people can find you somewhere in there. I will put it somewhere in the descriptions, and I will tag you in the videos too.
Awesome.
So people can go there and follow you. If you don't follow, please follow. Yes. Okay. So now, as you also know, I like to hear from all the guests the capoeira story. How from the very beginning, how you started, and what catch the sense of like, I want to practice this. So
sure.
Tell us your story.
Well, people ask me this a lot, just kind of like in conversation. With folks that you're meeting, capoeira, what your story is. And it's kind of funny because I feel like I almost found what capoeira was by mistake. So like to kind of go back, I did judo and karate as a child. So
cool.
I had some exposure to martial arts, but unfortunately I got a pretty bad injury.
Okay.
So at the age I was at, my mom got all paranoid about me being injured, and she pulled me out of martial arts. So after that injury. So, I was still young at the time, but I never went back after my injury. But kind of like growing up, I've never been a person who's into the gym, like running. That's never my vibe. So kind of just as I grew older, I had this feeling that I wanted to go back into martial arts. I didn't know which martial art to go back into. I'm just like, well, Muay Thai seems overly aggressive. I'm like, I'm like, do I want to go back into judo? So I was actually having, I think it was a phone conversation with my mother. Like, I'm thinking of finding like a kickboxing class or finding some sort of martial art to go into.
Somewhere where you can throw kicks.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like, just let that aggression and frustration out.
That's stress.
But, like, that's my whole draw with martial arts. It's like, it's the
Of
physical
course.
activity, it's practical, like defense,
Absolutely.
it's, you know what I mean? It's discipline. So there were so many elements as opposed to just, I'm running on a treadmill, staring at a wall, that
Yeah.
appealed to me about the genre of martial arts as a physical activity. But how I found capoeira was because my mom, being, worried as she is, was like,
Yeah.
oh, why don't you just do dance or something? Like, go into belly dancing. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm not going to go into belly dancing. But you know how parents have a way of, like,
Yeah.
kind of worming their way into your psyche. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure after I hung up that phone call with her, I literally Googled martial arts plus dance.
Wow, that's funny.
Videos, obviously it's more on the performance side of
Yeah.
kind of popped up on my feed, and I was like, started watching a few YouTube videos. I'm like, whoa, I'm like, that looks awesome. And it looks like there's no contact. I'm like,
Yeah.
plan. I'm like, mom will be happy. I get my martial arts kind of
Yeah.
So, like, I had no idea at the time, like, how mistaken I was that it's a non-contact sport.
Yeah.
But that's how the bug was in my ear about it. I started doing some research about whether or not there was anywhere in Toronto where I could train. And I kind of knew about it for, I would say, a solid year
Oh, cool.
before the right opportunity, I would say, presented itself for me to train. So I started training, not actually with Malays. I started training with a coworker's partner at the time.
Okay.
And, he was just kind of like, he just moved to Toronto, was starting beginner courses. It was close to my location. And, and I had that personal connection with my friend being like, oh, my partner is actually just starting to.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I fell into it. And it's like
Nice.
funny because he was like, oh, come on down. I'm starting a beginner session. And literally this was like 5 years ago this month, January 2015. And it was at some kickboxing studio. I'm just like, and he's like, it's an intro to capoeira, right? And again, I'm like, I still don't understand the true concept of what capoeira is.
Yeah.
So, like, I think I barely remembered to bring a water bottle with me. And I was just like, I had some weird notion that I'd be sitting there getting an explanation of what capoeira was. I got there and he like murdered me. You know what I mean? I was just exhausted and I never sweat that much before.
That's awesome.
And like, I don't even think I was wearing my contacts. I think I walked in and my glasses fogged up.
Whoa, that's pretty cool. That's funny.
Like, should I go home? Oh no, he's seen me. I can't turn around now.
Oh, man, it's too late.
Yeah, it was very much kind of like a fluke, I would say. And I was sore for about a week, but there was something in me that was like, that is the best workout I've had in a long time. And hell yeah, I'm going back. So,
yeah,
that was kind of it.
That's pretty cool. And then how do you find out about Capoeira Malays?
Well, so my first instructor was with Luanda, and he was a great teacher. I loved his classes, and because he was, I guess, like, there's no Luanda school proper in Toronto. When he would train occasionally, he'd visit different schools in Toronto and get his training in that way. So he was always kind of talking, like inviting me to the events, saying I should come train with him when he was training at Malays, which I guess was just the school that was closest to our location downtown. But also he was like, Mestre Lou was amazing, this and that and the other. But I was so self-conscious, like as a beginner, that I'm just like, no, I'm not advanced enough to be part of a class environment. I'm like, I feel comfortable just sticking with you kind of one-on-one. So I did that for like the first few months of my journey. I'm like, I just come with him. It's like a semi-private lesson. And, if other people that he's reaching out to in the community come to join the class is cool. But I'm like, I'm not ready to put myself in a situation where I'm like the new kid on the block, Okay. There came a time where his job meant that he had to stop training. Unfortunately. So at this point, like, I was like, I don't want to lose the momentum that I'm really enjoying this. I mean, I guess I'll go to work. like that was I suppose class you my training. So that's how I like I knew who Mr. Lua was. I was terrified of the game plays is so like I'm like, that guy looks really angry. I'm just like, but he's actually such a nice, like,
he's really nice
than ever. But I was like terrified, and I'm just like, oh, I can't handle that. You know what I mean? So, but that's how I ended up going to a class with Malays, is because my original teacher could no longer teach on a regular basis. I continue, and I was like, why not? So
him
history.
That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool. It's funny how like destiny always works and brings you, kind of like bends everything for you, and you like, oh, look at this capoeira.
Exactly, yeah, and it's just like it's all timing, and I think of the fact that I knew about it for a full year before I actually did something, and I'm just like, if I'd gone to like any of the random other places that I'd just been Googling and just kind of like put a shot in the dark or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure eventually at large I would have been introduced to this Toronto community just because like we are a community, but my journey would have been so different, and I'm just like, I'm one of those people, I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. Same.
Yeah, I'm super happy my journey's unfolded the way it has so far, for sure.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And what would you say is your favorite aspect of capoeira at that moment when you started and you say like, wow, this is really cool. Mm-hmm. I want to do this and see how long I'm going to do it. Besides the martial art part.
Okay. So when I first started, you mean like what kind of kept me coming back?
Yeah. Like for example, like when I started, the first thing I saw was the acrobatics moments, because I saw on high school at that time the guys doing like macacos and cartwheels and ahmada backflips and all that stuff, and I was like, I want to do that. And then I start asking, and like, how did I get from where I am to where you are? And they were like, well, we do capoeira, and then guide me, blah blah.
Well, I mean, I'm very drawn to the acrobatic portion of it, like seeing the kicks and stuff. Is that my capoeira? I don't want to say I'm not capable of it, but in the time that I've learned about my body, I'm just like, maybe that's not my game.
Okay.
But so that's kind of initially why I'm like, I would love to do that. I still think there's beauty in the kicks. And just since initially, like what brought me back to that first kind of like teaching moment and the courses was like the level of activity and like the feeling, the sweat.
Yeah.
Thing that I knew I was getting a good workout. So I think it was just, it was the combination of, this is a martial art, ticks that box. This is a workout ticks that box. And then with time, I began to develop the friendships, see the community, and as of late, it's really been the musical aspect of it as well. That's something I find unlike any other martial art there is out there. So to have all of these different things, but it's still all capoeira. It's just, it's like, it's an all-in-one.
It's
4 for 1, and it's just like, how can you go wrong?
Capoeira is so unique that I don't think there is a martial art. At least I haven't like really do the homework. Where it's a martial art where you can find music and the martial art. Yeah,
exactly. And not only that, the music directs the martial art. The music.
Exactly. That's
what I'm saying? So I'm just like, so I don't know, I just find that fascinating. I find it beautiful. I was actually listening to Professora Sehi's interview earlier today.
Nice.
She talked a lot about the music and like a lot of things. Really resonated with me. I'm just like, it's so
That's
true.
Awesome.
Yeah, she speaks so about it.
No, she describes that really well, and when she sings is very like,
I know,
gets to a point where you're like, wow, I want to keep listening.
It's like, I don't even know, I can't think of the word to describe it, but it's like, it's an experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it sounds weird, like and almost cult-like when it feels like you're in a trance. But I think that for those of us who love and really appreciate capoeira or who are truly interested in what the martial art has to offer and the history behind it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's so powerful.
Yeah, exactly. When you sing in capoeira, you have to put emotions to the music.
Exactly.
And she definitely transmit that. Like Tony Vargas too. Like when you listen to Tony Vargas, you're like, man. And I've listened to Mr. Tony Vargas and like face to face singing. He's like, you get like goosebumps.
Yeah, no, I believe that 100%. Like, I don't know. No, I don't think I've ever heard him sing in person, but I was at an event with Mestre Boneco and he's got, that same soul. It's
Exactly. Yeah.
Goosebumps. Mestre Casquinha.
Casquinha, yes.
Like he was at the same event at the GCB event I went with him, a couple of years ago, and it was it's transformative. It really
is. It is. There's another Mestre Joel. It's a very, very old school Mestre that he sings. When he sings, is really powerful. I'll probably like, if you don't know him, I'll send you some information from him.
Yeah, I'm always like looking. I'm always like creeping people on Instagram. I'm like there's like this running joke with the girls in my group that I'm like the hugest fangirl, and like whenever Mr. Lua always like asks for our input or for who want him to maybe consider bringing to an event, and I'm like, here's my list of people. I'm just like,
they're all like,
I'm like, this is their Instagram handle. Check it out, Mestre.
That's awesome.
Just like,
well, that's a big help because I mean, you want your students to be happy. So that's a huge help. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And why in the trajectory of when did you get your nickname?
I got my nickname from my first teacher. So that was Mooch from Capoeira Luanda. And like he gave me the nickname Encantada, which I like because I've never met another Encantada.
Nice.
Kind of in the capoeira circuit so far, from who I've met. But the way he explained it to me was that I was so enamored and enchanted with with what capoeira was and everything about it. I was just like gung ho and so keen from. So he says like that's why he kind of gave me the nickname. He said it also can mean charmed or charming or enchanted.
Yeah, like magical.
So I've had people tell me it's just like, I can see like it kind of works both ways with the personality, but for me, the reason it was explained to me was because of my kind of like googly, starry-eyed, kind of like face with everything to do with capoeira from the beginning.
That's awesome. Do you like it from the beginning?
Capoeira or my
nickname? The nickname.
Yeah, I liked it. Because you hear horror stories of like.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, is there some weird habit or characteristic or way I look that I'm not aware of when I'm in the hara that like all of a sudden this is going to be the name that follows me around forever. So I'm very happy. It's like, it's different. I like it. It sounds pretty. It sounds like feminine.
Unique.
Not that I'm even like a super girly person, but I'm just like, but I like it. I like it.
That's awesome. Yeah, because usually a lot of people get it like at a year or people get it like 6 months.
Well, I think I was begging him pretty hard. I'm just like, what's my nickname? What's my nickname? And there was like, at the time, because I like during the timing of it, I believe he had already stopped teaching and I was training with Malays. Okay. But I had no nickname at the time. So I maybe started training with Malays May or June, I think, of 2015. And then in the fall, Mamouche actually coordinated, Mestre Jalon was in town in Toronto doing a dance.
That's awesome.
Or like the fall for dance. That happens. So he brought Mestre Jalon to Malays for a workshop, which was amazing.
Yes, I love it.
Like he got the blessing from Mestre Jalon to give me the nickname Encantada, and that's kind of
cool.
Given my nickname at an event where Mestre Jalon was actually present. So that was pretty cool. And like, it's nice that Mestre Lua has kind of kept that as my name. He hasn't been like, scratch that. You're with my school now kind of thing. It's never been anything like that. It's like, that's my name. And I guess it fits. And it's just stuck. Though I will say most people call me still by my regular name just because that's how I was first introduced to them. And I think it's kind of the first thing you introduce yourself as. It ends up sticking more times.
Yeah. I usually like when after my 5 years, 6 years of capoeira, I started introducing myself as a kashishi. I just like anywhere I go, even like people that they don't do capoeira sometimes introduce, yeah, I'm kashishi.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? Like, oh, hardly, but you can come kashishi.
No, true. There are people where it's like their apellido is synonymous with who they are. It's just like, it's like that is just your name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there are friends of where it's like, it's just weird to call you by your birth name because I'm like, you're like, you know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
Or your fogu or whatever, right? Isn't like we actually have a fogu where it's like, who's Trish? You know what I mean? Like that's fogu. So it's like one of those. But the other thing I find kind of funny is that like there's a lot of people who speak Spanish.
Oh, cool.
I train capoeira, or I've met people who speak Spanish as well as Portuguese.
Yeah.
And Encantada in Spanish means nice to meet you. So,
yeah.
So it can get confusing. They'll be like, oh, Kashishi. I'll be like, Encantada. They'll be like, oh, nice to meet you too. I'm like, no, that's
no.
my name. Also, nice to meet you too. So I'm like, just call me Emma. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah, it is funny. Yeah, Encantada. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, exactly. So I still use both just for ease.
It's like Encantada and
exactly.
That's funny. When I was younger, back I'm originally from Venezuela, and there we have home phones, but it's just normal there.
Yeah,
it's not like here in America or in US or Canada where you have a cell phone.
Right.
Sometimes my friends, they call me and like, hey, is Kashishi around? And my mom, at the beginning, I was like, Kashishi. Mm-hmm. No, you wrong number. And then I was like, who's that? I heard Kashishi. And like, that's me. Oh, okay. And then after years, whoever was calling like, hey, is Kashishi around? Oh, yeah, hold on. And then she called me.
Yeah.
Like, he's your capoeira friend.
It's true. Well, I remember doing the same thing where it was the very first event I'd ever traveled to. And like she's her name in our group is Alegria, and
nice.
She, we were going to Florida, and she was staying at her parents' place or parents' condo or property there, and she had given me the number, so I called it when we landed, and I think I got her dad on the phone.
Yeah.
Alegria there, and he was like Alegria, like he was so confused, and it's like, oh, what's your real name? I'm like, oh, I'm like,
yeah.
So used to it in our kind of world and our little. A little bubble that we forget. Not everyone goes by it.
Yeah, even when you capoeira friends, they know your real friend, your real name.
Yeah,
and they call you by your real name, and you're like, that sounds like hurts my ear. Like calling by my name.
Exactly, because kind of it's just like worlds are colliding. Like you're my capoeira world.
Exactly.
Name, but I find but even on that, worlds collide because you spend so much time with these people training.
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
more often than my own family, right? Extended family, they become your real true friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How many times per week do you train?
I go at least twice, and then there's events happening during the week or that kind of thing. Then it might be amped up because of that, but I pay for and do my best to attend to at least twice a week.
That's awesome. The good thing about Toronto, you guys have a pretty nice community there because you have Capoeira or
Camara.
Camara, yeah. You have Paraíba there.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah.
So it's a small community.
Sokechi. So you have Sokechi.
Yeah. But he's Kadara out in Scarborough, and I know he was interviewed on. I think he's one of the ones.
Yeah.
He's kind of en route to Montreal. So
an awesome friend.
Yeah. So it's so much. He's such a wealth of knowledge, knowledge too.
Yeah. Shout out to my friend Sokechi.
Or you should come up and visit.
Yes. Toronto is actually on my checklist.
Okay.
Hopefully for 2020.
It'll be. Even with you, I'll be like, Kashishi.
Yay, we can take a picture.
Officially.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice. The Toronto community is it's big, but it's small. And it's still small, tiny compared to the community in the States. But in a way, it's nice because like I said, there's the amount of travel between Toronto and Montreal is frequent. We always support each other's events that way. I've recently, like, I know you had Graduada, but I forget her name, Stephanie from Calgary.
Yeah, Baqueta.
Baqueta, yes.
Yeah.
Like, she's one of those people where I'm like, I know her by her real name, right? But I know
cool. Okay.
had the opportunity to meet both of them.
That's awesome. Giganchi too?
Giganchi too,
That's
right?
Awesome. Great friends too.
Yeah, such nice people. And like, because the reason I know her is she's an illustrator, right? So she did Capoeira calendar.
Yes, I remember.
And it was beautiful. So I ordered one off of her Etsy shop, and we've kind of been in touch on social media since then. And I was in that part of the country while they were visiting another city for a batizado. So that's where we ended up actually connecting in person, which was awesome.
That's awesome. Awesome. Man, I don't know. I have a lot of friends in Canada. I have Giganchi, I have Baqueta. It's so many places I need to go in Canada.
Okay. Out in Toronto. I mean, you'll probably have to come more than once because you can't exactly do Calgary and Toronto in a day. So
Calgary is pretty far from Toronto, right? I don't really know geography in
it's
Canada.
about a 4-hour flight.
Oh yeah, he's far.
Not walking distance, I'll tell you that.
That's gonna take a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on these 5 years, what do you think Capoeira has been helping to get better at something, or change something, or discover something in yourself?
I actually funny, like I kind of did a post about this recently, and I tend to get very reflective in my captions when they're related to my Capoeira journey. But what I immediately think of is just kind of how Capoeira is, and I said this in my post, was how it's kind of forced me or pushed me to be or learn to be okay with documenting my progress and my journey, right?
Yeah.
So I still remember the amount of hesitation and fear that I had to post my first ever video I had recorded of myself trying.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because I find Capoeira is so misunderstood by people who don't practice it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, what is everyone going to think? And there just came a moment where I'm just like, you know what? Just do it, man. Just post it. It's really not for anyone else. So that's kind of, I think that's what Capoeira has pushed me to be like, I've pushed through all of these uncomfortable moments in my Capoeira journey, be it posting even when things don't look perfect.
Yeah.
And then being able to see my own progress through my videos, and then also hearing just kind of secondhand from people how me posting has somehow been an inspiration to someone else to either video or to train harder. So I'm just like,
you never know who's watching.
What's that?
You never know who's watching.
Well, that's exactly it, right? So I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm doing it for me, but to get the feedback from the people who do know what's up, and who are in that circle and who have seen progress, that's worth more to me than someone who doesn't truly get it and wants to scroll on by. It's like, you're not the people I'm trying to talk to. Like a certain audience for my posts about Capoeira, but I think just in general, we talk about Capoeira being a microcosm for life at large. So I think a lot of the lessons that we learn through our journey in becoming better capoeiristas has a lot to do with how we are in real life and outside.
Absolutely, yeah. Because Capoeira helped me on many stuff. Mm-hmm. Capoeira helped me with my introversion. Like, I used to be very, very introverted kid. Yeah. Helped me to understand how to teach, and that goes together with the introversion with standing in front of people, explaining movements. And I stand in front of a bunch of people, presentations, demonstrations that you do in front of thousands of people. And it's just try to like overcome the anxiety that when you like nervous and to be in front of people and you just want to try to do it really quick so you get it over it. And
yeah.
instead of enjoying the moment, that's that capoeira definitely helped me to live and be present in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, well, public speaking does not come easily to a lot of people.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I would call myself more like on the introverted side, but I feel like if you were to ask anyone in my class who's speaking on a regular basis, they'd be like, her introverted? Like, no, because, I'm always the one making weird noises when I fall down. Like, I'm just like, oh, like, like that, like, whenever Method kind of calls me for a demo and I almost like get kicked in the face, I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm just, I'm class clown. I just turn into the class clown for some reason. It's not truly me.
Yeah.
Maybe it is if I'm comfortable, but I guess, again, that's a reflection of my true self coming out around the people I feel most at home with. So
yes. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that
there's, I feel comfortable enough to be that persona around you. So
absolutely. Yeah. And it's definitely that other connection that you get with people when you get to meet new friends and when you make those best friends in capoeira.
Yeah.
It is just awesome that so many stuff that capoeira has and we can be hours and hours talking just about this.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, or even not, because the kind of undertone of it all is that it's like this person just gets it.
Yeah.
And you have to speak to it every time. But that, I feel like that commonality is just, it's automatic bonding just on that.
Yes.
It's your oyster from
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if you ever heard any other back episodes where I say like, doesn't matter what kind of language you speak, but when you start Jinga, everybody speaks the same language.
Yeah, I remember that line from the class. It's so true.
Yeah. And doesn't matter where you come from.
Yeah, and I've been fortunate enough to travel to a number of different places and, take a different class in a number of different countries just by like virtue of my job. So that's exactly it. I haven't always been able to communicate with whoever's teaching. Like I've been to a class that was in German, you know what I mean? Or when I was in Brazil at the time, this was like just a year in, I didn't know a lick of Portuguese.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But I know how to speak French, and the master who was teaching spoke only Portuguese and French. So we speak in French brokenly,
Yeah.
He asked me to help him with his English homework. So it's just kind of like, it's like this funny thing.
That's a win-win side.
Yeah. So like, well, barter services here, but like, that's exactly it. It's just like, I might not speak your language, but I can recognize the terms. I know what you're telling me to do in the context of the class, just because like of that, the movements and the words all being in Portuguese. So
yeah, and you read the body language. Okay, well, he's saying like you're gonna jinga here, you got a dodge here, and just kick. Here's when you kick it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny, and again, that's like a metaphor for what capoeira is. It's not just one thing. You know what I mean? It's a feeling. It's like holistically, you kind of be like, there's the music and there's what they're saying and there's the movement, but then you have your own flavor to how you jinga, it's
exactly,
your own movement. So it's all of those things. And I think, that's just, I don't really know where I was going with that, but it just,
no, that's pretty much what it is. It's just improvising, like just being like in the hall that you just like, it just comes out naturally. And that connection is it just happen.
Right. And you have to feel it. Like it has, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people, capoeira, like obviously there are some things you need to know, like basic things, but it's almost like it can't be taught beyond a certain level.
Yeah, like you have to feel it.
Case where it's just like, do you feel it? You feel it or you don't? Because like I can show you how I do my balanço, right? But if that's not how you do your balanço, it's like it's you got to find your own expression. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
It's like that.
There are people like that you emulate, and it's just like, oh, I like the way this person moves, and I do that a lot. Like I look at them, just like I love I save a lot of videos, and I'm like, I love how that person does this movement or how, and then you try it out for yourself, and it either comes naturally, and that's why I like recording myself.
Exactly.
I'll try something someone else has done to see if it fits with, my comfort zone with my style.
Yeah. Your capoeira personality.
Exactly. Right. And if it doesn't work, it goes. And then if it does, it ends up, being added to the repertoire.
Yeah, exactly. You just something more that you can put on the table.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. And as a female capoeirista, that you already been here for 5 years, and I can tell that you talk to female capoeiristas too, and you look up to capoeiristas, female capoeiristas too.
For sure.
And especially when I started, the female capoeirista was rare to see female capoeirista stepping up, where you like, oh, this girl plays really good. And then I think was like, at least in my generation, or when I saw it, was like around 2007, 2005, when I saw the female capoeirista start like growing and coming out more, and I don't care, I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
As a female capoeirista, how do you think we can make the female capoeirista stronger? Like on these 5 years that you have with experience.
Like how the capoeira community can make the female capoeirista stronger?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, example. I think it's just like you've said, female capoeiristas have come a long way. I've had no shortage of female idols up to the capoeira world, which I consider myself extremely lucky, because all of these people before me have already paved the way. Like it's like the yellow brick roads. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't have to fight for my space in the hara. The only person I have to fight is my own like insecurity, because like, we tend to, and I think someone else said this in one of your other interviews, is like, it's easier for us to kind of fade into the background. But in terms of how the community can support, this is what someone said, which really resonated. I can't remember who it was, but it's like, agua viva. We're not looking for special treatment, she said. And I'm like, that's exactly it. We're not looking for special treatment, but to be not even recognized, but called out. To be called out when we're not stepping up. Yeah. Because this space is as much ours as it is the males.
Exactly.
And not, as built or as tall or as bulky, it doesn't mean we can just fade into the background. So as the community, I think we should continue to hold, I guess, women who are in capoeira accountable, because the road has been paved and it's ours, it's ours for the taking. The hara is ours for the taking. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, we just need to get in there and go.
Yeah, so music.
Women, exactly. Women who are in it, just go by the game. I'm very fortunate because Mestre Lua, like our group it's transitioned somewhat, but we are heavily female. Like for a time, there were 85% of us. So for him, he always makes a really concentrated effort to bring a female capoeirista we can really kind of truly learn from, and who can benefit us at our batizado. So I would say that as well, like continue to feature or invite these high-ranking females to your events, because for students like myself, like that's a huge draw. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll give the example of like I think it was a really like I normally go to Montreal for their event in every June, right? But I think last year it was a very busy time, and I had almost been like, I don't think it's going to happen this year, until I heard that Professora, I think she's a Professora Sonora, who I have the biggest girl crush on, was going to come to Montreal as a guest.
That's awesome.
Clear my schedule. I am making this a priority. I have to get to Montreal to take a class and play with or meet, like fangirl and creep this girl.
Yeah.
I think I scared her a little bit.
And be like,
I love you. But that's what I'm saying. I'm just like the power that featuring or bringing female capoeiristas who are making their mark in the world, I think has a huge draw for those of us who are just kind of coming up, starting out in the capoeira world. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Do you get to play with Sinora?
I think she might have, like, everyone was hungry to buy in a game with her, obviously.
That's awesome. That's great.
Like a couple of quick games, but I remember after one of my games, I don't know if I played with her, but she came out to me and said that I play a smart game, which I was like, awesome. That's a great compliment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, I'm going to chew on that. I don't really know what it means, but I think it's a good thing. And I'm very happy that she made mention of it. So
that's great.
That was my time. I remember she told me, she's like, you play a smart game. So I'm like, okay, yay.
Like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, that's great. And so sometimes it's better for us just to jump to the holder. Like you said, just jump to the holder and play with that person that you admire, because even if it's like 5 seconds, because you probably, is probably another bunch of people looking up to them and they want to play too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you don't play, you're going to miss the opportunity. And who knows when you get to see that person again. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and that's actually one thing that I struggle with, where I'm just like, well, I don't want to get hurt. And like, it's just so crazy now. Like, there's 3 people jumping in at once. So, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes, like, I'll hang back and I'll be like, it's not worth it to maybe get my teeth knocked out. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, I still struggle. So it's one of those things where I kind of need to put, like, take my own advice and just go. But yeah, like I think I was lucky enough to nothing obviously memorable or long enough to be memorable, but I did get in there a couple of times despite
a little trick for you. You grab a partner.
Oh yeah.
And be like, hey, let's keep, like, hold each other accountable. And like, if you don't see me playing, like, be like, come on, let's go play.
Yeah, exactly. We do that a lot. We're just like, we tell each other in the car, we have to buy in at least 5 times. Or if you can count the number of times you bought in, bought in enough.
Everything counts. Yeah. And just play as much as you can.
Yeah.
Especially events, because sometimes in events you get to see people that you don't see often.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly it. It's just events already. I think the energy's already there. Everyone's
exactly.
Level that, like, it's become a thing. I think leading up to our batizado, like, we've had the talk from the instructores and the profesores and mestre being like, this is not the weekend to go out there and, like, try that move that you've never tried before.
Yeah, I heard that many times.
Event. They're like, this is not the weekend. So, but like, like, you just feed off of each other's energy, and it's already, like, so hyped up that, and it add to that there's all these people who are, like, amazing. It's an incredible time.
Yeah, those superstars from Capoeira that you are like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's those games that, when sometimes you caught yourself on, like, not clapping, just like frozen, just watching, not singing, not clapping, and you're like, oh wait, I gotta clap too.
Until Messi Corisco takes the birimbao and starts, like,
come on, sing.
Like, why aren't you clapping?
I remember.
Oh,
I remember many times, long time when I started too. I had this instructor that he used to, like, grab the kashishi and throw it to people when they just zooming out from the game.
Yeah.
And just catch you off guard and be like, oh. Yeah.
Funny.
And what kind of, to, like, wrap it up a little bit, what advice would you give to the female capoeirista? I know you kind of, like, said it, but this is like targeting a specific female capoeirista, and especially if they are listening to this.
Female capoeiristas specifically, find your tribe, I would say. I think, like, it's important to have kind of a group of other females who inspire you and who motivate you to keep training and hold each other accountable, like you said. Also, I spoke to this earlier, I've found great benefit, and this isn't female specific, but just recording yourself. I treat it as game tape to kind of be back and, it's like, kind of study where you need to improve or what you actually look like despite what you thought you look like in your mind. I think that's very beneficial for everyone, you know,
Absolutely.
especially girls who might be self-conscious. You know what I'm saying? Just because, like, it's that you tend to forget that every single person in this room started exactly where you started, is feeling
That's right,
feeling, and no one here, no one is judging you.
Exactly.
Or looking super awkward with your Jenga, right? It's just like, so that, you know, trusting that and like, just keep coming, keep going, keep training. And I think that when you start to kind of, when you commit to it, your eyes will, you'll truly see the beauty of it, right? And then I think it's like a reciprocal energy where it's like, if you keep showing up, other people will recognize that you're dedicated, and
that's right.
You know, to be like, they'll say, hey, you know, like, work on this or try this, or, you know, it'll come, right? But I think if you don't, I don't want to say buy into it, but if you're just kind of like, you know, sitting on the sidelines, not fully engaged and not coming all the time to class, to train and showing up, then you're not going to get the benefit of it. Not the community, not the training, not anything. And at the same time, you know, you won't be able to form the connections that come with the trial and error, asking people for advice, for
absolutely,
that kind of thing. So
sometimes we get caught up on the comparing ourselves with whoever we're watching on Instagram, especially. That we are like, oh man, but I can do those moments, or oh man, I wish I can be like that, but I'm not. Or or just in general, people comparing themselves with those people that are doing super crazy stuff on videos. Not crazy stuff, but like acrobatic and you know, like,
I know, videos, but it's just like, you know, and this is another thing, that you can't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't know what they do off camera neither.
Exactly. They could have a dance background. They could have an acrobatic background, a gymnastics background. But that's what's great about Capoeira, because it's like there's so many different moves. You can play a full and complete game without any of that.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, that's exactly it. And that's something that I've struggled with, because like, I'm not super flexible. I don't come from a dance background. You know what I mean? I'm like strong and steady. Like, you can't move me if I put my mind to it kind of person. Right. But I found kind of the movements that work for me. And, you know, it doesn't mean I won't still try the acrobatic stuff, but it's not for me. I also don't let that get me down. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It is what it is, and it doesn't mean you're not a capoeirista just because you can't do a mortal or whatever, you know.
Capoeira is many stuff. It's not only the movements. You have music, and also, like, if you don't feel comfortable buying the game, when you like, oh man, you know, like, I don't really feel comfortable playing in the roda. There's many other aspects of capoeira. Like, you have instruments and you have music.
Exactly.
Try to explore that area and see how you feel there.
Yeah, and that's something that Mr. Lewis says a lot. Like, you know, the training is one thing, but there's language, there's culture, there's history, there's music, there's singing. And it's not even just because, like, the berimbau about, it's 3 notes. So, but it's not just 3 notes. It's like, you got to play those 3 notes really well, because
you have to know how to combine them.
So, and that's it. It's just, it's a practice that never ends. I armed my berimbau today for the first time in I don't know how long. And I fully own up to that. But
have you listened to episode 17?
What's that?
Episode 17? That's where have you listened to the 17?
I don't think so. No.
No, that's where I like talk about the berimbau.
Oh, okay. I should go back and listen to that. But I'm like, I was recovering from like a
pinky
cut on my finger from that blade.
Yeah.
Bow at a roda in class, and it's just like, it hurt to actually hold it. Up, right? And I was playing, like, trying to play so loud. But so anyway, I was able to practice a little bit today, kind of getting myself into the capoeira mindset for the podcast. I'm like, I'm just like, I'm in the zone.
Nice. So, that's awesome.
like, yeah, it's making sure you train all of the different elements of capoeira to become a whole, like, a well-rounded capoeirista.
That's
Because
right.
just maybe it's just my personality, but just in general, it's like you don't want to get to a certain point where your game is top notch, but you've neglected your berimbau for so long.
Yes.
And it's now, like, with the cord, with the responsibility, it's expected of you.
That's right. That's correct.
Know how to, play this or play that. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like
lead harder.
Do it for capoeira, but do it for yourself, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I agree. No, I completely agree. Because I've seen, like, people, I also say on that episode where, like, it's a point at the beginning, you don't have to learn, like, really have to learn berimbau because you want to focus on the movements and correcting the position and everything.
Yeah.
But it's a point where, like, at least from my personal perspective, where, like, if you want to keep going up on level, you should learn berimbau. You should play berimbau, at least the basic.
Yeah.
All the basic rhythms, and understand how the roda function and how to lead the roda and when to sing, what to sing, and that has rules too.
Exactly. And it's just like, and I kind of spoke to this in the last post that I did about capoeira, how it's like you're told that from the beginning, and I'm like, everyone's just, they say, can you hear it? Can you hear the change? The rhythm changed.
Yeah.
And I said that, like, me, I'm just 5 years in, but I would say only now am I finally starting to grasp those, like, nuances to lift something and say, Benguela, confirm with Mestre, Benguela, yeah. Okay, so it takes time because, like, I feel like not that I wasn't ever eager or willing to hear the difference in the rhythms. I couldn't. Like, I couldn't mind, and it's just with practice, with time, you become more familiar where you're like, you have that eureka moment where it's like, okay.
Yeah.
This time last year, I wouldn't have been able to tell you what rhythm that is, but I can tell you what it is now.
Yeah. And sometimes
it's the mini milestones that you don't even celebrate, where it's like, I don't know, singing and clapping at the same time.
Exactly.
And playing an instrument at the same time. I'm not saying I do it well. Like, I still lose my rhythm, if I get to watching the game, or I lose my concentration. But at a certain point where I was like, this is impossible. And then one day you're just like, oh my God, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I'm kind of playing, and it just happens, and you just have to keep showing up. Right?
Oh yeah. Completely agree. I'm 100%. Sometimes you don't even recognize when was the aha moment, when you just like you said, it just comes out. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the day. I didn't. I don't know the day where I was able to sing and play the pandeiro at the same time. But it just
where the divine light, like, touched me. Yeah. And now, in general, now to wrap it up, in general, what would be your advice in these 5 years to the capoeira community, just in general?
My advice to the community?
Yeah.
Well, not advice, but thank you. Like, thank you for, like, being what you are. Keep welcoming us newcomers, and I'm kind of stretching it a little bit. I don't think people would consider me a newcomer anymore, but just keep doing what you're doing, because it's fascinating putting on events like we do a roda every long weekend in May. Just
that's awesome.
Corner for at least as long as I've been around now, if not longer, and it's fascinating to people, and I think that by just honoring and understanding the history of capoeira and passing that on to, like, people of my generation and sharing that knowledge, I think you'll, if you have, like, with the right intentions, you attract the right people, right? So I'm just like, it's like, I used to beg my friends to come with me to come to class, because I'm like, I love it so much. You just have to check this out. But something I realized was that I can't force someone to love capoeira because I love it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
If you just show up as you are, true to yourself, authentic,
Just be
people
yourself.
who are meant to come to Capoeira will find it. So, example, I stopped telling my friends to come to class with me. But last week, a girlfriend of mine who isn't even on social media says, "You talk about that Capoeira thing a lot. I'm looking for a physical activity,
That's so cool.
not the gym. Tell me more." You know what I'm
That's
saying?
awesome.
And it's like that. You find your people, you find your thing, I think you become more of who you're meant to be.
Oh
And
yeah.
that in turn attracts the right energy and the right people into your life.
That's true. Completely true.
The community as a whole. So
I'm
it's
sorry
not,
for that again.
yeah, it's not really advice for the community. I think you guys are doing swell.
That's awesome.
But
No,
yeah,
that's awesome.
keep on keeping on.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. And always happens that you want to explore more and you want to see more. And you tell your friends like come do capoeira with me. And sometimes they ask you like, hey, what is capoeira? And you try to explain to them. It's like, well, it's like
It's hard. Like sometimes
just come to see it.
I'm like, let me just show you a video. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's an Afro-Brazilian martial art. It has its roots in slavery. That's all I'm going to say for now. Check this out. Classes are this time. You come, you come. You don't, you don't.
Yeah.
I'll be there whether or not you decide to show up. So
Yeah, exactly. So, sometimes here where I live, not a lot of people know about capoeira, and when they sometimes they tell me like, hey, what do you do out of work? They're like, well, I teach capoeira. What is that? Well, let me tell you. Yeah, sorry.
you have exactly.
Yeah, you got like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it takes time to understand how to explain and try to like. But people see that passion, people see like, oh, like you like you said, like your friend says, like you talk about so much. Well, what is it?
Right. Well, exactly. And I think that just I think capoeira has been made fun of enough in popular culture that
Yeah.
what people know of capoeira isn't capoeira. They know, oh, like Will Ferrell, whoever mocked that in his movie, or, this, that, or the other, or like
Yeah.
burgers. Like,
Yeah. I get that a lot.
like, and when people mention those things, I'm like, it's truly hilarious. I find humor in
Yeah.
that, but I'm just like, haha, it's a good laugh, but I'm not going to invest my time and to pour my heart and soul out to like a random person unless they're truly interested in learning what it is. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's kind of it. You give them the basics. If they're truly curious, they'll come to you. So that's kind of my new approach.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same like
Thing, come with, right? Like, yeah.
yeah, it's the same like when I started too. Like at the beginning, a lot of people said like, "Oh, you do the dance, the dancing thing." I was like,
Right. Exactly.
yeah. And I used to get mad before.
You dance capoeira. I'm just like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
right?
Before I used to like be like, it's not dance, like. But now it's like, yeah. I do that.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, there's elements of dance. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's funny because like our group will sometimes do cultural events, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think it might have been at even Brazil Fest in Toronto, the from last year. And like, you've got a whole crowd of people. We're on the stage. The MC's introducing us, and they said this, like, I think their intro this year was like, so can you guys clarify? Do you play capoeira or do you dance capoeira? Like literally, all of us on the stage were like, play. We play, like not dance. So it was just so funny. It was like this resounding play from like everyone who didn't even have a mic in their hands. But yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. And now to like the final, now to wrap it up. What are your social medias again?
Okay.
And so people can find you and people
Sure.
can...
Again, my Instagram is at Gemdelines, GEMDELEENS. And then Facebook will be Encantada Gemma. I don't have my own website, but if you want to come by for a class, if you're ever in the Toronto area, Nesralua, come visit us. We're in the annex. And our website is www.capoeiraschool.ca for class times and more information.
That's awesome. That's a pretty good website. That's pretty cool.
I know. know. Like they secured the domain on that one, so they got in pretty.
That's pretty good. Easy to remember.
Exactly. capoeiraschool.ca. Yeah.
That's an awesome marketing.
Yeah.
Good job. That's awesome. Oh, nice to have you here. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure chatting with you. I can't wait till you visit, and or vice versa if I end up in Indianapolis and get to meet you in person.
Yes, or Chicago or any events. We'll meet at some point.
At some point, I'm sure we will.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
All right. I just want to share something with you really quick. If you are listening to this and you teach or assist to a capoeira class, or even if you have an event coming up, I want to help you. I want to help our capoeira community, because there's nothing more important to me than help our capoeira community. Because classes are more fun when there's more people to share this sachet, this energy so awesome that capoeira has. So I want to share your class or event in our podcast. So reach out to us with school name or any information on how people can find you, and send it to our email, podcastcapoeira@gmail.com. That's podcastcapoeira@gmail.com. And I will share that information here in our podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you like this podcast. If you did, take a screenshot, send it to someone that knows about capoeira or of course wants to learn. Share it everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, everywhere. And help us grow this community with a subscribe. Thank you so much. Peace.